This is Irontrader, and this is Midday Trading. So today we're taking a look here at some tech stocks. Take a look at NVIDIA, AMD, Tesla, Apple, Netflix, and Google. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy, sell, stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have NVIDIA. Now, the earnings aren't coming out here. I believe it was August 27th. So you got a ways to go here. So any kind of a pullback, I think, is a good buying opportunity here in the old NVIDIA. Okay, let's just see what we got here now. Now, you can see here, yesterday we made this high of 164.42. Today we made a high of 164.40. So it came right into that same neck of the woods here now. Now, you can see here how nice this consolidates. See how it runs up, consolidates, and now we might even have a little consolidation. But if you look at here, look how nice this 8-day is holding. See? All the way on up here, that's going to be very, very key support level. Now, this is going to be right here, 158.85. You need to hold that. If that's lost, we'll come down here, 157.34 level. We'll come down to this area right here. You're looking at 152.97. And then we'll be looking right here at that 152. That's a 21-day, and that's what I call the catch-all. It came right on down, held it. Very, very nice. Now, again, if that's lost, we come down here all the way down to 140 area, and then we come down to the 138, and then we have your 130 and 126 area, okay? So let's just see how this all shakes out. Now, you can see here how this RSI here, this is like when it turns blue, is like an overbought condition, but it can stay there for a while. This is a very, very strong stock. So even though as the NASDAQ right now is down about 47, you can see where NVIDIA is hanging right in there. It's only down 80 cents. Okay, so it doesn't look like people are giving up on this kind of this stock at all. And I think any kind of a pullback is a buying opportunity going into those earnings, and you have plenty of time on that. Okay, so what you really want to watch here is this 8-day on the downside. That's going to be key. And then we want to watch that 21-day. That's going to be very, very crucial. Now, on the upside here, that 164.42, we crack that, then you're going to push towards that 170 area. And I think eventually you're going to push towards that 200 mark here over time. Not today, of course, but, over time situation. Now, we have to be a little bit careful here. I see how this RSI here, see how we had this high, and then we have a lower high, and we have a high, and we have a higher high. So we kind of have like a little bit of a negative divergence here. So just be a little bit careful, okay, if you're into NVIDIA here, where this could come back a little bit, and then we could get in at a little bit better price. Okay, let's take a look here now at AMD. Okay, here we have AMD. Now they got they had a buy on this today here, and they're predicting the AMD to go to 200. Okay, I remember when Intel was the big boy and AMD was like a secondary, but now she's come along here pretty nice here. Okay, so they're predicting a $200 area on here, all the way up to maybe even possible at 227. But what we do here on this site here is we take one level at a time. Okay, so right now here, you can see where we have this kind of like an indecision candle, but what we're looking for is that price channel at 147.75. That's going to be very, very key, okay? Now, if we can get above that, then what we want to do is just bring this price channel right across. We're looking at right here at that 150.71, okay? Level right there, okay? Now, there's a gap up here, okay? So what you always want to do is watch them gaps. That's 153.12. That's going to be your upside target. And then look to the bottom there, 158.94, okay? Your gap. And then your fill, and then we can look to the top of that candle right there at 167.51. Then we have a retest all the way up here at that 174 level. Okay, so one level at a time, but always watch that gap, because a lot of times they'll go into the gap, then pull back. But once it starts getting into it, then it's going to want to fill that gap at that 158.94 level, and then possibly ride right on up here. Okay, so that's what you always want to watch when you're looking at these charts. Now, on the downside here, really what we want to watch is this 138.64, that's your 8-day, and we want to watch that catch-all, that 21-day at 133.13 level. Now, you can see here, when you lose that 8, look how nice. See how that 21-day holds? Beautiful. This is why you trade the charts, and that's what you watch it. Now, again, if that's lost, we come down to 123 area, and then we'll come down to this 50-day at 119, and then we come down to the price channel. You got 115, then we come all the way 109 if this stock gets hammered. Now, we have this overbought condition here. Now we're trying to rally up here. So let's just see here. But the key is going to be a breakout above this 147.75. Now, you can pop through, but it's got to close above it in order for us to go and maybe challenge that gap in that fill level. Okay, let's take a look here at Tesla. Okay, here we have Tesla. Now, a little bit of brouhaha between Dan Ives, which is a, he's a tech a guy, analyst guy, and Elon Musk. Elon Musk told him to shut the hell up. But actually, Dan Ives, he's right. Elon's got his hands in too many things, and you're not focusing on what you should be focused on. You should be focused on these cars. You should be focusing on, that self-driving and all this same. He's too much now involved in the politics area here. You have to focus on one thing. I get the SpaceX, I get the Starlink, I get all that. That's all fine. But you got to focus on what you're going to do here. Forget about the politics. Let somebody else deal with that situation, okay? So now let's just take a look at the stock. Because what the investors are thinking is you're not serious about what you're doing here. Now you want $50 billion to get paid, which is completely ridiculous. So let's just see how this all going to shake out here. Now, to me, Tesla, I got to say, is one of my favorite trades because it's always moving. Now, easy way to short this, TSLS, okay? Now, you can see here where we just gapped right up here, but this is where to go. Right into that 305. That's that 8 simple moving average. Now, we can get above that. Then we have your 200 there at 315. We have your 50-day at 319 level, okay? Now, if that moves on up here, we just follow these candles. You got 325, okay? We got 329. We come up here. You got a 331. Then we come to the bottom of that candle. You got 340. We come up here at 343. And then we got this retest here of this level right here at that 357 level. Then we can come all the way up on top on this candle right there at that 367. But you got to get through that 8-day, you got to get through the 200-day and the 21-day, and you need some kind of a catalyst to do this, okay? That's the thing. Now, we had this negative divergence here. I'm going to point that out. See how we had this high, then we had a lower high. We had a high and a higher high. And see what happens when that plays out? It comes all the way on down, okay? So now, on the downside here, we're watching this 100-day. That's going to be key. At 294, and then we'll watch that price channel at 288, and then we'll watch the bottom of this candle here at that 281, and then we're going to watch here at 273. Now, personally, I think Tesla is so way overvalued. I mean, realistically, this should be a $50 stock for what's going on here. You got to figure their car sales are just in the toilet. They're everything that goes on with that, all the earnings, all their sales, all their, product. It's just deteriorating. And what is going to happen here in September when they take that $7,500 incentive off the table here? Is anybody going to go out there and buy a Tesla? Okay, but again, this is one of my favorite trades, but I just think this stock is just way overpriced. So again, Elon's got to get focused on what he's doing here. I agree with Dan Ives. You've got to either focus and concentrate on what you're doing and make this a real company here, or you have to get out of it and go into politics or whatever you want to do. But right now here, what you want to watch is just watch that 8-day. Very key. We have the 200-day and the 21-day. That's going to be key on the upside. Downside, that 100-day is just watch that. If not, we can retest all the way down here to this level here at that 273. Now, we lose this. Just remember, there's a gap all the way down here, okay? So you watch this, that's 244.43, and then we looked at the top of this at 240.79. Gap and fill. So this stock, if it gets hammered or the market gets hammered, this could come way on down here. So always remember, for me, this is just a trading stock, and that's pretty much it. Okay, let's take a look here now at Apple. All right, here we have Apple, and looks like she's getting a little bit of love here, okay? So you can see here how we just fell right off a cliff here, and we were going basically sideways, but it hasn't run up like a lot of the stocks that have, okay? So what we're watching on the downside is you're watching that 100-day, 211, and then we're going to be watching that 8-day sitting at 210, okay? We lose that, you're going to come down to this 203 level. That's your 21-day and your 50-day, and then we could retest the 195 level. We could come down to the bottom here at 193 level, and you can take it all the way on down until we come all the way down here. Now, again, Apple is such a big company that, you're like steering the Titanic, okay? So always remember that, okay? So you got to have a big-time catalyst. So 216, okay, that is going to be your breakout. You have to get and close above that, okay? If you can, then what we have is we have that 200-day sitting at 222 level. But we also have this gap fill. See where this bottom here at 221, okay? So that would be a target, and then that 200-day would be a target, kind of a situation. But you have to close back above this price channel at 216.23, which is basically just the top of that candle, okay? So right now here, we have this sideways action. They're coming out with a little bit of news, how they're doing this, how they're doing that. But remember, this is such a big company here that we got to see how this all going to shake out here. Now, they made that F1 movie, and I watched it. I thought it was a really good movie. And they recouped all the money that they had into it, and it looks like they're going to maybe making some money. So maybe down the road they'll be doing some more movies or something on that order. But again, this is a big ship the old steer. Okay, so bottom line, just watch that 100-day, watch that 8-day. If not, we come down to the 50-day, 21 day, and then we can retest that 195 level and possibly even down here at that 193 level. Upside, that right there is everything, is that 216. We got to see what the reaction is. Can it blast through there and head towards that 21-day, that gap fill and that 21-day? Or, if we can, you get above that. Look at how many nice targets that we have going all the way up here at 241, at 244, at 260 level. But let's just see how this all shakes out. So just be a little bit of patient. This is really my stock. It's not really what I call a mover kind of stock. But let's just see how it shakes out. Okay, let's take a look here now at Netflix. Okay, now Netflix. Now look at this chart here. All the way down from 344 all the way to 1341. How much money could you make if you had that, okay? Not bad at all, okay? So really just a beautiful chart, bottom left, upper right. Okay, so now we really tag this 1341 level. Now, football season is only 2 months away, so they're going to have football on, I don't know, it's kind of a cluster. Before, you used to be able to turn the TV on and you could watch a football game. Now you have to have regular TV, you have to have Netflix, you have to have Amazon, you have to have a Peacock, a Plus, and then you got to have everything in his brother here. You got to have like 6 different apps just to watch a football game. So they're going to have to try to consolidate this somehow. Okay, so an average person can turn the TV on and watch a game. Okay, you can't be paying, $60, $80, $100 just to watch a game. It's kind of ridiculous. Okay, so Netflix though is going to have some games on. Okay, and that I say so that should work out, for them going forward. Okay. But now, like I say, we kind of like hit a nosebleeds area here. You can see how we got overbought. See, when you start getting like that, you can come off, and you can come off hard, especially when you got a $1,300 stock. Now, you can see how this 8-day is rolling over here, okay? And now we're depending on this 21-day, which has been holding very, very nice. So you got to respect it on a closing basis. Now, if we lose that, we're going to be looking for this a 12-13 level, and then we're going to be looking for this retest down here at this 1180 area, okay? Now, if that's lost, you can come all the way down to this 100-day, possibly even down to that 200 SMA here. Now, everything is going to be based around, you have to close back above this 1262. If you can, then we're going to aim for that 8-day at 1290. Then we can just follow the candles right on up here. You got that 1307 level. We got 1331. And then we have 1341. That's your breakout. You do that, you're going to head to that 1400. Which your stock would just split. That would be a lot better. You could buy a heck of a lot more shares then, okay? But right now here, just watch that 8-day that's rolling. But just because it rolls, look at here. See, it rolled here too. But again, it held and then it turned right back up again. So let's just see how this all shakes out. But that 21-day is going to be key on a closing basis. If not, you can hit that 50-day and could go down. See, we got to that overbought. So always watch this RSI here. When we get to that overbought condition here, you can fall down. Just look at what we had in the past here. Overbought condition, and then we come right on down here, okay? So you don't want to buy it here. You always want to buy it on that sell-off. So you want to be just a little bit of patient kind of situation. Same way here where we got overbought, and then we could buy it right there and then take it right back up again, okay? So just be a little bit careful here with the old Netflix. I love the stock. I trade the stock all the time. But again, just be a little bit patient with it. Okay, let's take a look here now at Google L. Okay, here we have Google L. Okay, now I like Google. Here I have their YouTube TV, and I think I was using a Charter for a long time, and it's so ridiculous. And they say, okay, we're going to give you our TV channel for $39, and then you read the fine print, and you got another $50 in fees. Okay, so I just eliminated Charter. God, I don't know, 3 years ago when I went to YouTube TV, which is very good. It's $72.99, and they keep adding channels, which is really good. The problem with the YouTube TV is you're only getting tier 1. Okay, if you want something, then you have to go, you get Paramount, but then again it says, okay, if you want this, you have to go to Paramount Plus, and they want you to buy the app, okay? Just like with the football, okay? They'll show you some games, but then you got to go to NFL Plus, Paramount Plus, okay? You know what I'm saying? All this kind of stuff here, which I don't know what the end game is here, because if I have TV, I should be able to watch anything I want. but it doesn't work. But I do like the TV. You can record anything you want. It saves it, movies, everything like that. So it works out very, very good. And obviously YouTube, I'm on it right now, okay? So I like this. Now, they're saying that this stock was kind of a lagger, but again, they're saying that down the road here, that this could be a really good running stock. So you always keep your eye on it, but what you want to keep your eye on is this 181.23, okay? So you can see how it ran up, retested it, and now we're just sitting here, this sideways action, okay? However, when you look at this, see how you have a left shoulder, we have a head and a right shoulder. We have an inverse head and shoulders pattern, okay? Which would take you up right up to this gap here if this all played out very, very nicely, okay? So always remember that. So 181.23, you got to get it and close above that. If we do, we just bring this price channel right across here, okay? You're looking at 185.34, but what you're really looking at is this gap up here at 192.75, and then we're looking at that fill at 202.81, okay? Your gap, okay, your fill, and then your retest at 207. So keep this on your radar here. Once we close above that 181 here, we have nothing but just upside air to shoot for, okay? Very, very nice. Now, we do have that 8-day we have to contend with on the upside, but on the downside, we want to watch that 21-day at that 174 level. We want to watch this 200-day. Let me see if I can get it in there for you at 173. And then if we lose that, which is holding very, very nicely, you're going to come down to that 50-day, possible 100-day here, and then possible retest of that 162 level, okay? Now, again, there is a gap all the way down here. So you look at here, you look at 156 level, there's your gap, and then we look at 155, your gap and your fill if this price channel here is lost, okay? So always look for down the road for future in case this does get hammered, we have a target, okay? Now, RSI here, you're sitting at 54, plenty of room. Green is they're going sideways here, kind of an action here. But we do have that inverse head and shoulder, so just be very, very, very cautious here. If we can close above that 181, I would be all in on this Google here, and I'll take it to that gap and possibly to that fill and possibly to the retest. So they're saying at the end of the quarter, they're going to do it. But, okay, whatever they say, I don't listen to. I trade the charts, okay? So that's what you have to go by. So bottom line, watch that 181. We get above that, then we have a lot of nice, good targets all the way to the upside. Downside, you got so much support here, the 21-day, the 200-day, the 50-day, the 100-day, and the retest down here at 162. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here later today, and we'll take a look at Bitcoin, gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas, and we'll take a look at the indexes. Now, the Dow's ripping up today. NASDAQ is kind of flat, kind of a situation here, so not too bad. And oil is coming off today. You're down 151, but natty gas had a nice, good little bit of rip up. It was a good trade in UNG. So there's always something out there to trade long or short. All right, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.